Hi, this is Rhonda, and today I want to introduce you to my hubby, Mello Mel. We've been married for 23 years, and we have a 21-year-old daughter. And he has seen the results in my way of eating, and he has thankfully started to embrace the carnivore way of eating. So I'm going to hand it over to Mello Mel.
Yes, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you for that wonderful introduction. So, here's where I am. I have seen the positive results on Rhonda Carnivore Leo, and was kind of curious and started trying it for myself, and I started seeing some results for myself. Only thing is, I'm not 100% over there because I still have items in my deep freezer that I need to, I have not so good things in my deep freezer that I'm too frugal to throw away, and I just want to work through them and get them gone, but never to buy them again. And on top of that, I do have cheat days, but Rhonda says, don't call them cheat days, call them treat days.
Can I add something to that?
Go ahead.
Well, I like to use Dr. Robert Kils's philosophy, who says you can have them from time to time, but not all the time.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So with those things, I'm kind of like right there. I'm not 100%, but I do believe convinced and I'm on board with the whole lifestyle because I really see the results, and then to hear all the bad things that we were eating for years and having so many symptoms from, it's like it's kind of like a easy sell. I'm like, I don't want to die early. I don't want to keep having these other little symptoms. I want to be healthy and live long. And so I'm redefining who I am and what I am in the carnivore lifestyle. But I think I'm there with just a few more inches to be, completely sold. But I do believe this lifestyle is for me, and I believe that this is the way to go from this point on.
I'm really happy to hear that because I feel it's important to have family on board, and for me, having my husband doing this with me is just a great motivation that I know that I will be able to stick with this lifestyle for the rest of my life. And I don't care who else in my family is not on board. As long as my husband's there, that's all I need. So I'm very happy to hear that. And I wanted to ask you a quick question. Since I don't even know the day you started doing this, because when I'm sleeping and I fall asleep to the YouTube videos and I'm listening to all these doctors, Dr. Anthony Chafee, Dr. Robert Kills, and my husband is up because I go to sleep, I think, before he does, and he's listening to these videos oftentimes while I'm sleeping. So that surprised me, that how much he's taking in. So what I want to ask you, I don't even know when you started doing this, but do you remember when you started, and what benefits have you seen so far?
Good question. Let me think. I would say, just thinking sequentially, it was after I retired
All right.
that I started really listening. See, here's the thing.
That was on July 1st you retired, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing. When I retired and stopped having to go to bed on time to have to wake up and clock in at work, I was able to stay up later and do things later. And while she's sleeping and having YouTube videos on autoplay, just playing one video after the other. I was hearing all that. So I would say since July, the beginning of July,
Okay.
that's when I kind of started saying, I'm really curious about that, and really trying to get acclimated to that lifestyle for those benefits and for that trade-off.
So that's 6 months after I started then, because I started July 2nd.
Yeah. And then the benefits,
I started January 2nd. Sorry. Uh-huh.
the benefits, well, I started losing some unhealthy weight. And then I lost that pretty fast up front. And then I kind of stayed at a certain plateau with the weight, with the poundage. But then I started seeing some gushy areas get firmed up. I'm like, ooh. That's what really convinced me, like, ooh, kind of firming up over there. Oh, and then the energy level, that was impressive, and that was kind of helping to sell me, like, ooh, I think I need to do more of this. And then some of the other little things that I noticed were not happening anymore, like some issues with my sleeping. At one point, I had to sleep on one side because it felt like, well, without getting into the weeds of this issue, I don't even know what the name of this issue is. The name of this issue, but I had an issue where if I slept in a certain position, while sleeping, I would get into a deep sleep and slow, light breathing and lighter breathing. And at one point, I would breathe so lightly that I would take a break from inhaling and exhaling and just lay there until I just wake up because I need to take a breath.
Sounds like sleep apnea.
That's what somebody else said they thought it was, but I thought that was more of a blockage in your breathing or something and snoring.
Well, in a way it is, because the tongue rolls back into the throat and
Okay.
then blocks the breathing.
Yeah, then that's that category. It kind of helped with that, and even Rhonda said herself, she doesn't hear me breathing or something to that.
I don't hear him snoring anymore.
Right, that's
He was snoring really bad. In fact, I wish I kept the recording. I did a voice recording of how loud he was snoring, and I played it for him, and I don't know if that shocked him or not, but he doesn't snore anymore. I haven't. In fact, that's when I started. I don't know how long ago it was, maybe a month or two. Let's see, July, August. So about a month ago for sure, I was noticing that. I'm like, you're
Yeah.
sleeping and breathing good and you're not snoring. So
That part.
I was impressed with that.
That
Considering
part.
he's not 100% carnivore.
Yeah, considering that. And mental clarity. I always hear a lot of people on the videos she's watching talk about mental clarity, but I just started really feeling clear in my thinking. And I'm like, if that's mental clarity, I think I have it. Wow.
It's only going to get better.
Yeah, get better. Yeah. But I have some questions I want to ask you yourself, Rhonda. Because so I consider myself definitely in the carnivore universe now. And I know for me, it is. I noticed that it takes discipline, or it takes motivation,
Commitment for sure.
commitment,
Just a
commitment.
why that
dedication.
makes you cry.
The why. Yeah. So my question is, what keeps you motivated to continue in the carnivore lifestyle? Is it the benefits that you enjoy having, or is it the long term that you are looking out for? What is it that keeps you disciplined and keeps you from jumping off the tracks with the carnivore lifestyle?
Wow, that's a loaded question. The main thing that keeps me motivated is not having to be on medications anymore for my hypertension that I was diagnosed with approximately 30 years ago. So I'm medication free, and that alone, I mean, the heart disease and the high blood pressure, that's pretty scary. You know, the doctors said, you know, you could get a stroke, or that's like the number one, they said, cause of death, and especially being African American. They said because of my age, I'm 60 years old, and because I'm African American, that it's in my, I guess, I don't know if they worded it exactly this way, but in my genetics that I have the propensity for the high, blood pressure. And after listening to the carnivore doctors, I don't really believe that it's really genetics. I believe it's our diet and all the unhealthy and processed foods that we're eating. So to answer your question, that is my main motivation. That was my why. I in a previous video said I prayed, and the answer was right in front of me. I just, never ate beef really that much until I started carnivore in January. So that's my main motivation, and to stick with it, I'll be honest, because I know some carnivores aren't honest. I've had my treat days. Sorry, but I went right back on track. Yeah, so especially for my birth month, I'm a Leo. I was born in August, so I for the whole month of my birth month, I'll be honest, I pretty much had ice cream. I don't know how many times in that month, but that is my only temptation right now. It's amazing how this lifestyle took away all my cravings for the things that I used to love. I used to love M&Ms, Reese's Pieces, Snickers, cakes, pies, cookies, and I can't stand those things now. I tried tasting red velvet cake that I've always loved, and I went to my favorite bakery and got a slice. They sell them by the slice, and I'm like, this doesn't taste the same. It's just not as good. So the only thing that tastes the same and just as good is ice cream, Haagen-Dazs green tea ice cream, because it only has 5 ingredients, and the only bad ingredient in that ice cream is the sugar. But I don't know if that answered your question fully. To keep on track.
Yeah.
Thank
you very much.
Yes. Okay. Thanks.
Yeah. And interesting, you talked about the sugar part and the cravings part, because in my mind, and that's why I asked that question, because the mind is a powerful thing, and with the decisions I'm making in my mind, I can stop the craving and eating of the things that I know are doing me harm just by thinking, bad, that's bad, and then next thing I know, I don't have to have it. It's like, see, our daughter, she's not a carnivore anything, so she's still free to eat whatever. And I picked up a couple of cookies from the Wendy's thing, and I was not even tempted to just have one, because they have a deal, 6 cookies for $5. That's a good deal, and that used to sell me like, but Rhonda was right there, and you saw me get the bag for her and put it right down, and was not even tempted, not even saying 3 for her, 3 for me, and I'm happy. Not tempted at all. And the thing is, I see where sugar can completely be eliminated, except for the treat days, of course. But I can see where you can completely eliminate the sugar, especially since it does so much harm. I can see eliminating it because I'm not craving it, and it's like, oh, I don't have to. The few things I do still have that I kind of bought in bulk because it was on sale, and that was before I started being committed to the carnivore life, and I don't want to throw them away. And I'm eating those things slowly, just once a week if it's a treat day. Um, but every time I put it in my mouth, I'm like, I don't have to have this. And if I didn't have, you know, 2 of these containers left of that, I would not be eating this right now. But I just don't want to throw that away in the garbage can. So I'm slowly getting rid of that. But I guarantee you, I won't be getting that or anything else in bulk like that to have to slowly, out of guilt, you know, digest and consume, because I don't have to. And I think that's the amazing and beautiful thing. You don't have to.
I'd like to add one thing is because the carnivore lifestyle, the meat, especially the beef, is rich and nutrient dense and has a lot of fat in it. The fat is what keeps us satiated. So, you know, don't have to eat as often, as much, and it keeps you not thinking about food. And I do have a craving, I have tried eating my bacon chips that I make, and that seems to, and they're sugar-free, so that seems to help my cravings. I don't know if you want to try that, but
I'll try that.
It works for me.
I kind of just had pork rinds for the little snack.
And those are allowable. Pork rinds are allowable.
However, the brand that I did have had a little sugar on it with chili pepper to give it a kick. And I just kind of cleared the last bag out. So, and then so in the future, I'll just definitely get the plain old Jane old, either just salt or maybe pepper, but plain old Jane old pork rinds. The other question I had for you, and then we'll kind of wrap it up because I don't want it to be too long. This is like but we'll have many. Oh, and we have some announcements to make it at the end too. The other thing. Oh, well, it kind of I guess ties in all together. My last question was dealing with a topic matter that we kind of deal with more in depth in our project that's coming up. But well, I'll just break it out right here. Okay, so we had a setup, like an appointment set up with an actual rancher who raises beef, and you know, when we thought about it, we said beef is the center, the heartthrob of the carnivore universe, and without beef, what do you have? Just the bacon, eggs, and butter. Yeah, but so beef is the main thing, right in the middle, in the center, in the heartthrob of the carnivore lifestyle.
Excuse me.
And the sad thing to me in interviewing this rancher was hearing that, you know, their children, like the other children of other ranchers across the state, across the country, they don't want to do this thing that mommy and daddy were doing and generations before them were doing. They want to have regular jobs like regular people, and they go off and do their other regular things. And oh, well, who will be there after this last generation of ranchers goes and retires? It's like the next generation of ranchers decided they didn't want to do this anymore. Now, of course, there are some exceptions, but to hear that was such a shocking and sad kind of thing for me, because it's like, oh, that's a whole industry that can be just turned over to like corporate, where they just throw any kind of thing to the cattle and to the herd and to the beef and feed them anything, and then we eat what they eat, and then we're eating and are the result of eating what they were fed, which is all kind of crap. Rhonda, do you want to elaborate on that? Your feelings on hearing about how the next generation of ranchers is kind of like really, really reducing to where we should all be kind of concerned a little bit?
Yes, I was kind of concerned and sad about it. hearing that as well. I mean, I kind of knew from listening to other videos, like Dr. Anthony Chafee interviewed a rancher that lives in Canada. I think her name is Maggie, and she was talking about the same thing. And you know, don't even they barely make ends meet. So who is going to take over when the ranchers are too old to keep it up, and who's going to take over from there? So it is concerning, and I'm hoping that people, you know, around the world, we're waking up. We are, and we're realizing that the healthiest way to eat is to eat a proper human diet. So much includes ruminant animals for the most part, and beef is the most nutrient-dense food that we can eat. So it is sad to me. I don't know what the future holds. I'm just hoping that the situation changes and that we can find a way to make ranching more prosperous and desirable for the generations after us to continue. But right now we still have them, and that's why yesterday, in fact, we met with our local ranchers who only live 5 miles from us, and after living here all these years, didn't even know that they were here. So I think it's so important to get the word out to how important it is to support our local farmers and ranchers. Otherwise, if we don't, that's going to disappear.
Right. And one thing she did say was there was a small exception. There are these young cowboy type of guys that are coming up that love what they do with the beef and the whole raising up of a calf all the way to, what's the term, to process or to
I think they call it processing, so the finishing stage.
finishing, yeah.
But we don't want to give too much information because we haven't put this video out yet. We just met with them yesterday. My hubby is the camera guy, and he's the editor, so he's going to be, you know, there's so much that goes involved with editing videos. I'm sure all of you know that. And so I don't know if it's going to be a few days from now that we'll have that video up. But
Well, I tell you what, I'm going to put in some time today or this evening, and I guess we'll have a better kind of view of when we can, you know, call it complete or whatever. But Rhonda's right. Excuse me. It's not just like another vlog you can just slap together and it's done. It's kind of like a mini documentary. There goes a whole lot of editing, and then of course we want to use original music, which I will gladly put in there to kind of push the music side. But it's more of a special project, not to just be thrown together. So with that being said, it's like, yeah, you gotta give it a little time and let it bake in the oven and at some point. But we're really happy about it, and I'm really glad to land that interview with the ranchers, and Rhonda did an excellent job, and we're going to be really excited and happy to have that for you guys and have it for y'all to see, and just continue to pass this word around about the attention we need to give to the ranchers and cattle people that are making the beef that we need so much in a carnivore life.
yes, amen.
Amen. Well, I think we should wrap that up, Rhonda, and we'll come back again because this right here is easy. We can pop these in easily, and then
I'm very excited that, like I said earlier, that my husband's on board, and I look forward to making these videos with him.
yes, and look for those coming up, because that's like my other hobby. We didn't get into all my hobbies, but I like videography and small film production. So,
And he's a great musician.
Oh.
He's the best musician at church,
Oh.
at our church.
well, I can't blow my own horn, so there you go. Well, thank you for introducing me today, Rhonda. And
You're welcome.
at some point, I look forward to changing my YouTube name to having some kind of carnivore related name. Carnivore Mel or Carnivore Mello Mel.
Well, we have plenty of time to think of it, and you got to start documenting your journey right away because, like, I didn't. I wish I had, so I don't have any or many before and after pictures to show. I don't have measurements like other people in our carnivore community did. So I know you said you kind of started around the 1st of July, so I would start documenting now your weight, measurements, and then taking the photos before and after so people can see your progress. So that's what I would do. If I could do it over again, that's what I would do.
Okay, I'll look into doing that.
Well, this was really a fun, good conversation. And do you have any last words before we close out?
Yeah, definitely look for that project coming. I say between now and a week or two. Look for that project. It's a whole lot of fun, and we're really excited about that. So keep your eyes open for that.
Yes. Okay. Well, thank you. We just wanted to let you know that because some of my local subscribers that live in the Elk Grove, Sacramento area was asking me about the tour that I did at the ranch, and we just did it yesterday. So I said, I don't know how long it's going to take my husband to edit, but hopefully, I hope it gets done at least this week coming up. So you guys can look out for that. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. And until next time, America.
All right. See you later.